Special Issues Committee meeting for December 9th, 2024. Counselor Sims.
Here.
Gear.
Here.
Smith.
Here, I am on the committee.
Yes, you are. Andrus.
Here.
4, sir.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes as presented.
All right. I have a motion from Counselor Smith, a second from Counselor Andrus. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. First item is old business 161124 for request consideration from the Dance Foundation in conjunction with Homewood Arts Council to hold 50th anniversary celebration on City Hall Plaza in August 2025. Counselor Gear, do you have any update on that?
I have not heard any additional information from Kim. Have either JJ or y'all know anything about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have any additional information, and I talked to Diane today, and she hasn't heard either, so we just need to carry it over.
Okay, we can carry that over then without objection. Next item, new business 05-12-24, public hearing set for December 16th at 6 p.m. for consideration of a sign variance at 202 State Farm Parkway for Fast Pace Health. It's presented by Hutton Homewood, Alabama. Owner, Autumn Francis, Sarah Murray, representatives, and Wyatt Pugh building officials. Wyatt's not here today, so Scott Cook is here. Scott, do you have anything on this item to introduce it? Or would you like for the representative to handle that?
Yeah.
Everybody went up quick.
Yeah.
This will be
I went one
the
day, it was gone.
nice new urgent care building in front of, beside,
Milo's.
in front of the Milo's, beside Milo's, in front of her Jeep over there, I believe.
Yeah.
And basically, they're requesting a window sign variance. And we interpret, and the ordinance is written to where you cannot exceed 20% on each window pane, that is the area. So, you wanna come up here?
Please. Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and I'm with General Sign Company. I drew all the ribbons and everything. I permitted the signage. And in the ordinance, I misinterpreted. I would have permitted these ribbons a long time ago when I permitted all of the signage if I would have understood that that's, was supposed to be included. So I brought a little board. All of these ribbons are currently installed, and I've talked to Wyatt, and it hasn't interrupted the CO or anything. The clinic is supposed to open on the 18th of this month, and he just kind of informed me that these would be able to stay up until there has been a ruling, and we're happy to comply with whatever the ruling is. I just wanted to, come and present the square footage differences that are shown in accordance to the windows and what your ordinance does read. So this, I'm sorry if no one can see it. We have a meeting next week and I can bring printouts to pass around. So
It's up there.
Yeah, it's okay.
perfect. Okay, so all of these ribbons show, and they go edge to edge of the windows. They are really there to promote urgent care, which is what this clinic primarily does. They do a few other things, like they can do dermatology, primary care, just that kind of thing, but urgent care is really their bread and butter. That's what they want possible consumers to know that they're available for. So that's why they like to display their, primary source of meaning to the community. But all of these ribbons you'll see across the smallest height-wise window on the building. So that makes them roughly 30% of the actual window, whereas if they are the full bank of windows, it falls quite a bit less than your overall square footage allowance. So you'll notice that I have listed the total square footage of windows versus the actual allowance of marketing materials and the usage of marketing materials. So on each elevation, the square footage number allowed for the windows is more than what was actually used. So all in all, we're asking for 55.3 total square footage, whereas the allowance for all of the windows in the building would be just under 65. So it's about 10% less of a square footage that is being utilized. However, the issue we're running into here is that the official window that these ribbons are on is over that 20% allowance that's outlined in the ordinance. So, too much on the current window, but less overall.
Because it's on a shorter.
Correct.
pane.
It's on a small
pane.
Okay, and are the windows, are they glazed or can you see through them?
I can ask just for
You can
sure.
see through them.
You
You
can see through
can
them.
see
Okay, that's
through
what- I
them.
couldn't tell from the
I was
picture,
there
that's why.
earlier, but I was just taking some snapshots, and I was like, I can look and check.
So they're not
the-
opaque, I mean, you can see through those.
Yeah,
Correct, you
Okay.
can
kinda
see.
see that
Mhm.
drawing
You can
that's
kind of
over
see a
that.
few of the
Yeah.
chairs and
Oh,
the
gotcha.
reception window and things like that.
And then what about the urgent care and the just walk in, is that, Scott, is that part of the variance request?
It is.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay.
And it's included in those square footage numbers that I mentioned earlier as well.
So we need you to come up with percentages on each window pane as to what it is currently and what you're gonna be asking for.
Okay, okay.
Because we can't do the area that's per pane.
Okay, so I need to bring the official allowance per window and which one is on each window. Okay, I can do that.
And what the
I don't
total
think
number
the
is?
202 is,
Correct.
Pardon?
I don't think the 202 is the address. I don't think that's pretty.
Well,
Is that not 202 the address?
yeah.
That's
yeah,
what I have
yeah,
listed.
I don't think that's.
Exactly, yeah, that's exempt.
That
They
doesn't
gotta have an
count.
address.
Yeah.
Against you.
Right,
Ryan, could you
the
go-
ribbon is included, but I did not include the address number because it would have an address number
Regardless.
for certain, either way.
Brian, could you go back to the next slide, please? The one that shows the percentages? And that one, right? Yes, with the little table. So the red ribbons in the pane that they're in cover 31.6% of that pane in each one they're in.
Correct.
And so it's
what he needs,
it's
yeah.
a max of 20%, right? So the variance is that 11.6% overage in that individual pane, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
And then the
but-
same all the way down. I mean, because it's calculated per framed pane versus, the windows vertically in each column.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah,
and then
so
the,
just
and
to-
then the just walk in is 2875, so that's 875 over, and say urgent care same.
Right.
And then there are 14 different asks, I mean, there's 14, I mean, is that how we report it, it would be 14 variances?
Yeah.
Well, just to clarify though, the ribbons, I guess I'm confused because we've got other businesses in town where we allowed them to put white, basically as long as it wasn't a marketing material to cover the windows, the glazing on the outside of the buildings.
Yes.
So
And
if
those,
the-
and those didn't count as part of the ask for sign variances.
Yeah, can you go back to the front elevation, Brian? I'm sorry, because I think there's some ribbons that don't have any words on them at all,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
That's part of their advertising, that's part of their branding, that is,
A red stripe?
yeah.
Okay. I mean, to me, if it doesn't say anything, it's not advertising anything.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that
Yeah, no,
I don't think we have to.
I got you. Yeah,
don't
I'm with you. I don't
interpret
see
that
how
the
a
same way.
red stripe advertises anything, because it doesn't say anything.
I'm not on the committee, but I just remember it, as long as it didn't have the logo within that
That's what I thought.
space, that it would.
Because there's three
Not
ribbons
be
there that don't
considered.
have anything on them, and I don't see how you say that's marketing anything, because it's not, because it doesn't say anything.
I think one of the issues though is that we're not just talking about, the sign as far as from a marketing standpoint, we're also, the issue is the way the signage ordinance is written in regards to coverage of a window surface area. It goes back to when it was reduced to 20% to try to allow visibility into a business. And then this is compounded by the fact that instead of being like one window surface, there's actually like 4, different frames and panes. So if it wouldn't even be an issue if there weren't the the slats,
The divider
basically.
bars.
The dividers, yeah, because it'd be well under 20%. But where we're getting caught is the way the ordinance is written would be less than 20%. So even though it doesn't matter if it's a sign as far as writing and from my understanding, it has to do with the coverage of the glass.
Yes.
I think they're both issues, so I
Yeah.
just want to be clear.
Okay.
And I don't think this is what Councilor Nelms was saying, but I want to make sure that we don't get caught on a future issue. it's not just the logo. It's anything that is related to their business. It's there for a commercial purpose, which obviously urgent care would be, even though that's not their logo.
Right.
Right.
So.
But with the red stripes that don't say anything,
So.
because I could argue that that's not, I mean, if they left them up there without anything else, I mean, it wouldn't be advertising.
Part of their branding.
So, yeah, I mean, well, I can kind of make an argument either way, but if just think of, again, the struggle with signs is this: every time we give a variance, you're essentially opening a door for the next one. And so if you wanted to put enough stripes over a window, you could make something that my guess isn't going to look all that great to the council. And so I understand what Mr. Cook is saying. At the same time, if you paint a stripe on the side of your building, you paint a stripe on the side of your building. And I don't know, if it's just one stripe. So, but I'm a little cautious about us saying that the stripe is not branding when it's something that is clearly if it were just the stripe and it didn't have words in it anywhere, I don't know that would be an issue. If it's a stripe and that has words certain places, I just want to be careful about opening a door for. I mean, this all goes back to the whole original point of we have a sign ordinance for a reason,
Right.
And the more we make exceptions for it, the harder it is to enforce. But.
Which is why we're gonna let the BZA handle this crap going forward. They can be the people that make this decision. Okay, well, when would be the earliest that we could do the public hearing, Mike?
It's already set for December 16th.
Oh, it's already
which
set
is
for
our
next week.
meeting. Yeah,
Okay.
So the proper motion would
Would be to send it out without recommendation pending
Yeah.
public hearing on next Monday.
Yes.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion from Counselor Smith, second by Counselor Andrus, to send it out without recommendation pending the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks. So
Thank
that
you.
means public hearing next Monday, and I would just, come with all the information you came with today, just in case there's additional questions from
Will do. I'll bring
other
that
counselors
additional
not on the
square
committee or
footage.
present.
Watch this next presentation.
Okay.
Might have-
Katie, what is your last name?
It's Macias, Nacias. IAS.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And the next item is 06-12-24, public hearing set for December 16th at 6 p.m. for consideration of a sign variance at 817 Green Springs Highway, Suite 101, Baba Java, J.J. Thomas, owner, Brad Haynes, Baba Java, and Scott Cook, building official, standing in tonight. Scott, do you want to intro this one as
yes,
well, please?
You can see what we've got. We've got each one of them labeled here and seeing how much the percentages are.
Yeah.
Which is what would be helpful on our presentation. So you know how much, if you're giving a variance, what we need to give a variance percentage for each payment. All right?
Have these all already been installed as well?
Yes, yes. So we'll let the coffee company come up here and talk about what they're wanting to do or have done.
Hey guys, my name's Brad,
Good evening.
VP of Operations, Baba Job. This is my colleague Randy. He's head of marketing for us. This is our third cafe in Birmingham. Super excited to be in Homewood. My wife grew up in Homewood, graduated in '98, and super excited to be with JJ. He's been an unbelievable landlord. So yeah, similar to what Kaylee said, we read this as one whole window. And so Randy did a great design, and it's just letters. And so we felt like it looked great. You can see it from the road. You can still easily see into the cafe as well. So that's very similar to what she said. We read that as the whole window, not individual panes.
And can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And this is just what happened if you move those down to the big pane?
They get bigger. They get in front of our customers at the bar,
Yeah.
and they get larger.
Yeah, so we have
Fill
bar
up the
seating right
20%.
here in front of these windows.
Oh, okay.
Where customers can look out.
Oh, gotcha.
If we have to move them down, then
That's blocking
it
them.
really
What-
hurts the 5.
Yeah. I got you.
One note about this is a mock-up. We didn't have any true photos at the beginning of the thing. So the percentages of the actual space that artwork takes up is a little less. If we move it down to those bottom panes and we go by the pane rule, like he said, we have a bar there, customers can see out, outside folks can see in. If we move it down, it actually, as written, the ordinance would allow it to be bigger, but we were trying to be tasteful, stay out of the way of eyes, have a really clean, one color, no photos kind of look.
I was just wondering if you moved it down, if this whole situation would be
Well, it would
A non-issue.
be within your
within the ordinance,
but
right?
then
It blocks
to be
y'all's-
honest, it just does, it designs.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Especially from the inside looking out.
Right, sure.
Could it not be at the bottom of the bottom pane?
Well, then it's unnecessary, because
Then nobody
see it
can
from
see
the
it.
road. 'cause
We have
there's
that
a
fence on the front of Green Springs
Yeah.
with the landscaping, so you have to be at least 5 foot to even see it above the fence, which will put you probably where that camel is.
Yeah.
So if everything above the
I got
camel's
that.
on, then you can see from Green Springs.
Yeah. I go there all the
Kind of
time.
piggybacking on what they're talking about, I think the real issue is the code says window area. So you're allowed 20% of each window area, and it doesn't define window area. So they, which is not unrealistic, said window area is the area of the windows. I think Scott believes it's a window pane. So when the code was written, it was not clearly articulated which is which. So I think the intent is to, let's not clutter up the window area. But also, I'm sure the city's intent was to allow businesses to be able to have signs that can be seen in a tasteful way.
To go along with that, our name is Baba Java Coffee. We happen to have the pop bar, handmade gelato pops inside. If you just have our name on our sign outside our building, nobody knows that portion of our business is there. And as JJ can attest, our business is filled with families every afternoon. They're coming in after school, enjoying time together outside on the patio at the edge, spending money at the other food places, and then having dessert at the coffee shop. And that's all we really want to do, is be able to tell people what we do in a way that is nice, clean, looks good in the community.
And y'all have the window on the side, right? Don't y'all have like that?
We have the parking lot side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a
Well,
wall sign.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
this
okay.
this is it.
So, one note about these mock-ups, there are no logos on the doors. We never installed those.
Okay.
Yeah.
The hours are tiny on the side pane. There are no logos on these front doors.
Yeah,
Okay.
those do
The
not
hours are
exist
tiny
yet.
on the side. The only logos are on that outside facing sign facing the parking lot.
And there's
Four
nothing on that
variances.
inside door, is there?
Right, so it's 4, yeah, correct.
What about the inside door?
Inside.
The door that goes to the court?
Inside that goes to the courtyard, there are, and I don't have those measurements, there's a logo and a pop there. I think it's within the 20%. I would have to
Okay.
check before
I believe those would be inside the courtyard, would
Yes.
not be visible
Yes.
outside, so they would be exempt, I believe.
Okay.
So you're saying that the percentages there are not good percentages, those are just mock-ups?
Yeah, that's just mock-ups. Those percentages are a little big. The actual measurements of those windows
Okay.
is 71 inches by 33 inches on this side.
Okay.
And they are 58 inches by 33 inches on this side. And those pieces of artwork respectively are 25 by 23, 54 by 14. That's on the 71 by 33 window.
So by next week, can we have the percentages right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can do that. I have them here, but I need to double check them around.
Okay, yeah.
If you look at the whole window area, what we would all look at and say the window area is the area of the windows, it's like 5 and 8%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know, it seems, I didn't know if she was gonna be here, but I think this issue's gonna come up over and over again. So the other,
It's actually already come up.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, and this is the way it's been enforced.
Interpreted.
He interpreted at this point. I mean, that doesn't mean there haven't been variances, but yeah, this has come up a lot, actually.
but I don't know if it's worth considering defining window pane, window area, and clarifying whatever the intent was when I was written. As far as the variance, I'm just here to support them because they did it what they thought was the right way. They are way under 20%. They were intentionally trying to abide by the 20%. They're at 5 and 8. They did not realize it was window pane. And also, if they go lower, so they could go lower and it would even be bigger, but then you run into blocking the people sitting there with a computer, and you run into when the landscaping grows up and the safety fence kind of blocks it.
Did we talk about this in our committee, well, that we sent to planning commission? Was this this was not in our?
This was not a thing at the planning commission. JJ sent an email and we've been talking about it.
So it's something we can add when it comes to us? Or does it have to go back to the planning commission?
Maybe you could start all over if you're adding that.
Start the whole thing over?
No. Not the whole thing. So what we talked about.
Yeah, you would have to start that over, that issue.
This one?
Are you talking, let me make sure, what are you talking?
I'm talking about this, the work that we've done, adding the, sign ordinance to the zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
And it's come out of the planning commission. We voted on it the other night, didn't we?
Yes,
Okay.
you did.
Sorry, I can't remember now. We sent out to the council with a favorable recommendation.
Right.
So we can't add this discussion.
Or the definition of a.
So what would clear it up would just be to add the word window pane instead of window area.
Is that a significant change to start over again at planning
Yes.
commission?
It's not a significant change, it's not changing it.
If you're saying window pane
Or why
to make
don't-
it consistent with what
just leave the
what
window
the
here?
interpretation has
Leave the
been,
whole
it may
thing.
not be a significant change.
That's
But
what
if
it
you're-
says.
Right.
That's what we're
But
saying.
I guess my question is, if you're already interpreting it that way, why do you need to?
Because in
To
my
make
opinion,
it
when
clear
you've
to
got,
the people who are trying to.
Yeah, then you have to worry about.
when you've got
configuring
something
variances all
written
the time.
that can be easily looked at two different ways, why not add a word to where it clears it up?
Or-
I don't mind adding the word, my
The procedure.
my hesitation is the procedure
That's
of
right.
adding the word
Yeah.
at the last minute
That's-
like that.
Well, I don't
without
mean
it
to-
going through that way.
I'm just saying we've already, like, we're, I don't mean
It's
if,
the whole damn thing.
if it's something insignificant, you understand, and I'm.
No, I do, that's what I'm saying,
Okay.
is I don't have any problem with the what you're proposing.
Right,
And that it would be clearer.
right.
What I don't want to do, or what I'm saying is, if that's deemed a material change, then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to,
Start
you
out.
can still move forward with what we got,
Yeah.
but then we need to start differently with that. And I guess my point is, rather than trying to shoehorn it into where we are now, if the interpretation has been consistent to this point, why don't we just start over with that issue at some other point so we don't mess up what we've already
Okay,
done?
that's fine. We can talk about it.
It's just a procedure thing.
Well, or
We'll
in,
talk about it.
I'm gonna jump on with JJ here. If it says damn window area, let it be the whole window.
And if you're doing that, I think you absolutely have to
Absolutely.
start.
Oh.
Right,
Absolutely.
because he's saying to point, we haven't been, to
Haven't
date, we
been
haven't been
enforcing.
doing it that
The
way.
illustration of window area shows a sign that's way more than 20% on a window pane. So I think the interpretation is the issue, but I
So,
think some sort of.
And respectfully, I would like to say that what I've heard you describe for the reason for the ordinance is exactly what we tried to do.
Right.
And if we change it, we'll actually be going against the spirit of the ordinance.
Right,
So-
you're trying to make
Well,
it
we'll-
so that it is visible.
We'll pick it, we'll talk, and if we need to,
Yeah,
we'll talk.
I mean, look, if there's a difference of opinion as to whether that's pain or the
Yeah.
full area, there's no chance it's going in what we've got
That's
before us
fine.
now.
That's fine.
And that's okay, that doesn't mean we can't do it, we don't wanna do something that.
That's fine.
we're
We'll,
screwing stuff up.
yeah, that's fine. Tell me
For
that.
this item,
Yes,
we're
I'll-
talking
yes.
about,
Send it out.
and so is this so that's four variances on the screen right now. There's a total of 5, is that correct?
No.
No, just
Okay,
four.
Okay, just the 4. Okay, so we have 4 variances, all for window coverage over 20%.
I'll move to send out without recommendation pending the public hearing.
And I would second that.
Okay, that's a motion by Counselor Andrus and seconded by Counselor Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that'll be at council next Monday. Thanks. All right, without any further discussion, then special issues is adjourned.